Okay, so today we continue with our class Halachos of Brochos, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And the topic today, two tablets. Let's see, two tablets. For the Torah scroll to be kosher, endowed with a proper sanctity, it cannot be missing a single letter. Even the imperfection in one letter can render the Torah scroll invalid. Okay, so let's stop here. We actually learned it. Where did we learn it? In a class of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. It was like summaries in laws of tefillin, right? When we were discussing the laws of tefillin, so we were discussing these different errors that would make the tefillin, and needless to say, Torah writing is invalid. So even one letter, even part of the letter is missing. So, and what does it mean? Missing that even you can't read the whole word because you know the word. But if you show a child who is, as Shulchan Aruch says, Mishnah Brura, comments not especially smart and not very dumb, like a normal child, like I don't know, 6, 7 years old, 9 even. Right, and if he cannot, who can read but who does not know the words really, right? Who cannot recognize the words. So this by the word of this little child, the whole Sefer Torah is going to be invalid, right? It's very interesting. So one letter, even part of the letter is missing, can render the whole Sefer Torah invalid. So that's halacha. So let's see. In a similar way, a Jew is considered a believer and worthy of portion in the world to come only if he believes that every letter contained in the Torah is God-given. So it's very important, and we learn actually in Rabbah in Hilchas Teshuvah when we discuss in the definition of apikoris, right? And one of the definition of apikoris, which we translate as heretic, is the one who denies even one concept, even one rabbinical point. Right? So that, he denies like any laws of in the Torah, any statement or right. So he's considered to be heretic, and it's in one of the categories that have no portion on the world to come. Serious business to deny Torah. If heaven forfend, one denies the authenticity of even a single letter in the Torah, it is as if he has denied the authenticity of the entire Torah. Right? So he's a person that maybe this letter is extra, or maybe our sages separated the letters wrongly. So what does it mean? So Ramban Nachmanides actually explained, if you read his commentary on this parasha Bereshis that is coming up soon. So he said that the Torah was written 974 generations before the world was created, and it was written without spaces. So technically, you could have divided not us, but the Torah could have divided differently, like spaces differently, and it could. And he gives a few beautiful examples, like I don't remember exactly example, but very, very interesting that the whole meaning changed. It's like totally different subject. It depends where you put the spaces. Very, very interesting, right? So when a person technically denies not even a single letter, but even single space, the division of the words, so he's in a big trouble. Let's see. We're all ma'amim b'nei ma'amim, believers, son of the believers, right? All of us believe that every letter of the Torah has received by Moshe from Hashem. How then it is possible for a person to approach even a single mitzvah without proper reverence? So it's a very good point. Of course, we understand where he's going to with that, right? So he said, if we believe that everything was received by Moshe. It's one of the 13 principles that the Moshe was of Judaism. Moshe was the primary prophet, and he received everything from Hashem, right? And how can we not to be scared, right? To treat this mitzvah lightly, if you know that it's directly from Hashem. This is not an indication. This is not an indication of faulty belief. Rather, it points to habitual transgression of the commandment, which results in one viewing the forbidden as something permissible. Once a man has been guilty of transgressing and repeats it, it becomes to him like something permissible. It's Kiddushim 48. And we actually said it, we learned this in depth in Hilchas Teshua, when Rabbah said, so one time person does whatever, Aveira, some sin, and it's okay, he feels very bad. Second time he does it, not so bad. And third time, Rambam explains based on this, he feels it's a big mitzvah, so he's doing big favor to humanity with his behavior. Right? That's how Eitzachara works. So we try and never ever do any sins. The Torah states, he Hashem gave Moshe the 2 tablets of the testimony. It says in Shmos 31:18. Okay, the Torah omits the vav from the word luchos, tablets, so that the word can be read as if it's singular, lucho, right? Tablet. Rashi cited that Huma writes that this teaching that the tablets were identical in dimension with a supernatural precision, so that they appear as they were one. Okay, so one letter is missing, and of course our sages derive a big lesson from that, right? So only one vav is missing. Technically, you can read this and pronounce the same even without vav, right? Technically, you can pronounce the same, right? But they learn from here that these tablets were exactly the same. And since the writings of the tablets were not the same, different number of letters, so that's, of course, it's a miracle. Okay. The commandment describes upon the first tablet concern the man's relations with God, while those on the second concern the man's relations with his fellow. The tablets were made identical to teach us that all of the mitzvahs are vital, and it is the totality of their spiritual light within the single individual that produces man of spiritual perfection. So very interesting conclusion. So all of these mitzvahs, why the tablets were exactly the same? Because as we know, even though there are only 10 commandments, or 10 statements, 10 sayings, they say these 2 tablets, but from there, our sages derive all of the other commandments from these 10. So those are big ideas. Of course, there is the commandment, but they also big ideas from which we derive the rest of 613. Right? And we said that all of the 613 are equally important. So a person cannot pick and choose. Right? Okay. So we stop here. So continue with our Halachos of Brochos. Okay, so we started very interesting topic, very important topic. And people who never learned the subject, they would say it's very controversial. So, and the only answer we give, you never learn the topic. If you learn it, there is no controversy whatsoever. Okay, so what is considered bread and bread products? Okay, so we're in section B, and it says products considered to be bread. So what is bread? Right? Classifying bread in double quotes. Most baked products made from a grain flour what is grain flour? So the commentaries say wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oats flour. Right? Okay, only from these 5. All others not considered to be bread. So even though they might look like bread, for example, they make rice bread. So it looks like if person is not told what kind of bread is it, so he would not know. I mean, unless he's an expert.
Cornbread is very common, I think. Corn.
Yeah, cornbread also, but cornbread. I mean, there's a different color, but even with the colors, if sometimes they have this bread and they put a lot of eggs in there.
Yeah.
Egg yolk. So it would exactly look like, I mean, not exactly, but very close to the cornbread. So you would not know. So this cornbread is not considered to bread halachically, even though it's the same form, right? It was a flour from the corn mixed with water, like salt, whatever. Like, I mean, very, very similar ingredients, but it's not considered to be a bread. So bread, one more time, only from flour, made from wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oats. Okay. Okay, so one more time the whole sentence, and we're going to explain. Most baked products made from grain flour, including bread, cakes, crackers, and the like, are classed as a bread family. So now we started with definition of bread, but we said that it is a bread family. So it's not exactly bread, but bread family. What does it mean? It depends how much you're going to eat. Okay? So regular bread, as we know, like straightforward bread, is one category. And cakes, crackers, and the like, it's that were baked. So all of these products were baked, is in bread family category. Chazal, however, designated that Hamotzi is made only on a product which people generally use as a mainstay of their meal, rather than between the meal filler or snack. Only such products are considered genuine bread. Okay. This is the single most important criterion in determining whether or not the product is considered genuine bread. With regard to Hamotzi, benchen, and nitlas yadayim. Okay, so let's stop here. Before, of course, he's going to give us example, but before we go to example, so he said that one of the most important requirement that this product, whatever is it, is used for as a mainstay of the meal. So meaning that you take this bread, you take this roll, right, and you're going to eat salad and fish and meat, other things, cheese, whatever you're going to eat with this bread, right? So usually people don't eat fish with cakes. Sometimes they do, but not very common, right? So the mainstay of the meal, that's considered to be bread. Okay, continue. But others, and when we say that something is genuine bread, for sure bread, right? So we said that it's required Hamotzi, right? Of course, you wash your hands, nitlas yadayim, then Hamotzi, then benchen. I'm not sure why he changed the order. Okay, but doesn't matter, right? Okay, continue. For example, sweet rolls. For example, on Rosh Hoshanah, many people use raisin challah for their meal. Even though the challah is somewhat sweet than ordinary challah, and contains raisins, since it is used as the mainstay of the meal, the bracha is Hamotzi. Members of Sephardic community, see footnote M. Okay, so let's use this, read this footnote M, and we're going to explain. The minhag in Sephardic community is to make borei minei mizoynes on challah if it is sweet, sweetness is discernible. Preferably, Hamotzi should be made on a regular challah or bread. The sweeter challah maybe then be eaten during the course of the meal. Okay, so here's it's one of the few differences between Ashkenazic approach and Sephardic approach. So for Ashkenazic approach, so we say like even it has raisins in it. Sometimes people do it with cranberry, dry cranberry, dry blueberry, Whatever they add. Sometimes they would put honey, sugar, some extra sugar. So of course you feel the sweetness. But since it is for sure it's a mainstay of the meal, it's always, absolutely always considered to be Hamotzi, right? But Sephardic, and I have some, actually many students who follow the Sephardic tradition, so they actually say Baremi Nemizoines. There is no problem. But as author recommend, so he recommends them to say Hamotzi on a regular bread, right, without sweetness, and continue eating this sweet challah or whatever they eat during the course of the meal. There is no problem. But once again, if this person is going to make the meal out of this sweet challah, for sure he should wash hands and say Hamotzi and mention everything. Because we're going to see, we do it for cakes. If we're going to do it for cakes, needless to say, we're going to do it. We must do it for challah that a little sweet. Any question?
I think even for Sfaradim, the thing is, if you're eating more than 216 grams of any kind, even if it's mezonot, you have to wash.
Yes. Okay. That's exactly how I was saying. So if you would do wash for the cake, needless to say, you must wash for this sweeter challah. But Ashkenazic tradition for sure, like even sweet, very sweet, it does not matter. So especially Shabbos challahs, like even commercial ones, whatever you buy. So I mean they all have sugar, sometimes too much sugar. I mean that we don't buy challahs, but from a long time ago when we used to buy it, they have a lot of sugar in there. Okay, Baruch Hashem. By contrast, there is a type of sweet roll and sweet bagel sold in the grocery stores in Eretz Israel, which most people eat for a snack rather than with a meal. This roll have a consistency similar to challah and a similar but somewhat sweeter taste. Since they are eaten by most of the people for a snack, the Brocha, Baremi Nemizoines. Okay, so technically bagel, I'm talking about regular bagel. It's for sure it is bread, right? Because there is no difference between bread and this bagel, right? So bagel first they make a dough, then they boil it, and then they put it in the oven and finish the product, right? So they bake it. So the last step of the bagel is actually baking. So it's that's why it's 100% bread. But here they say something like sweet bagel. Okay, so it is exception. Why is it exception? Because most of the people eat it as a snack. Okay. But here we don't have anything like it. Okay. Continue. And they say just in case they somewhat sweeter than usual. Okay. Continue. Eating matzoh. Okay. To further illustrate, most of the people use matzah for a meal. Therefore, the bracha of matzah is Hamotzi. Members of Sephardic communities, see footnote O. So let's see. So first of all, before we can continue with the Sephardic custom, so when we say matzah, we're talking about a regular matzah. So if you go to the store and you see there is the egg matzah, there is a rich matzah, matzah crackers like small pieces. So all of these matzahs, and it's actually said if you read on the box, it says on some of them it says not to be used on Pesach for sure. On some of them say not to be used on for the Seder. So it's all of this rich matzah. So it is some of them it's kosher for Pesach, but you cannot use it for the Seder. But you can give it to somebody who cannot eat regular matzah, right? So it's very soft. When we had our grandmother over, so she would eat that matzah because she was elderly person, she could not eat the regular. That was too much for her, impossible. Okay, so it was an exception. Okay, so what is the exception with Sephardi community? So with Sephardi community, as we said, I don't remember we discussed in this book or another book. So they say on the matzah baremine mizoines the whole year, right? The whole year except for Pesach. And I think does not say here, but I think it's throughout the whole Pesach. Or some of them say maybe on no. It's throughout the whole Pesach. Otherwise, what they're going to eat, right? The whole Pesach they say Hamotzi, but during the year they say mizonos. And why would they say so? Because it's one of the definitions of the bread family. Pascha Babi Kesnin, right? Shulchan Aruch brings three opinions. And we actually, since he did not decide where's the opinion to follow, so we follow all of the three opinions. So what are the three opinions? So that bread family is they're flat, something like a flat and crumbles, right? So it's matzah is for sure one of them. Crackers is like very flat and dry consistency. That's perfect. Perfect definition of matzah, but Ashkenazi custom developed. So since we eat matzah, I mean, in my family we don't eat matzah unless, for example, we ran out of bread and we had I don't know, people over and what I have ate all of the bread, so we would eat matzah. But otherwise, we would not eat matzah during the year. Right, but even if we eat, we always say hamotzi. Always, absolutely, always say hamotzi. Right, so it's one kind. Second kind, it's very sweet. When it has bread family, like cakes, for sure. Like it's very sweet. Has a lot of honey. Made with eggs. So some cakes made without water at all. Right, they made it with eggs or. They make it with juices, with honey, with all of these things. Okay, so the second category, and third category is pockets, right? So when you have pockets and you like some dough, and inside you have food. You have fish there, you have meat there, like vegetables. So those for sure are bread family. Okay. So one more time. Ashkenazim would say hamotzi on matzah. Sephardim would say mizonos on matzah. Okay, but again, if you're going to eat a lot, and we're going to say what is considered to be a lot, there are two opinions in Shulchan Aruch. One is 3 eggs, and one is 4 eggs. Okay, so we're going to explain later on.
The egg is considered. You're talking about kezait.
No, it's egg. Eggs is exactly kibeitza. It's double kizais, 2 kizais. So no, okay. Continue. So matzah square and matzah crackers. On the matzah squares and matzah crackers. On the other hand, all the different than regular matzahs in shape. Almost identical in taste and consistency. However, most people eat them as a snack rather than as a mainstay of the meal. The appropriate bracha, therefore, baremine mizonos. So these matzah squares, like they sell it in boxes, like small squares, tiny, like crackers, but a little bigger than crackers, and exactly the same consistency as the matzah. So you would not. I mean, maybe it's a little different. I'm not a big expert, but for me, it's exactly matzah, but in a nice, cute, finished form. But since most people use it as a snack, it is considered to be mizonos, right? But of course, if you're going to eat a lot, so we would need to wash our hands. Continue. Other genuine bread products. Other examples of the products which are used primarily as the mainstay of the meal are, so number one, rolls. So rolls, I mean, You do sandwich with it. You eat as it is. You put some spreads on it. So that's what I mean. Roll for sure. It's a mainstay of the meal. Onion rolls, right? Garlic bread, bagels, toast, a toasted slice of bread. So even though it was a little toasted, but it's still considered to be bread. Then we say cornbread. So what is before that we said that the cornbread is made of corn flour. How can we say it's for sure it's bread, right? Because when you check the ingredients, right, on the cornbread, or if you take the better example, I would say would be cereal, right? You have cornflake cereal. So look at the ingredients, and you will see the most of this thing in cornflake cereals. Not in all of them, but in many of them. Most of them, it's actually wheat flour because it's cheaper and right. So all of the corn bread and corn muffin. And so we used to buy these corn muffins from this BJ's or something like, right? So they these corn muffins was for sure we would say barami for sure. I mean it's there is some taste of corn, but it's not the main part of the bread. Okay. Same with the rye bread. So we make rye bread. So I mean it's a little healthy. So just because this bread, whatever we make, right, homemade bread, called the rye bread, it's only 25% of rye flour. Yeah, you understand? So people.
Black one, right?
Was it? Yeah, it's darker. Yeah, it's dark, but it's only 25. The rest of the flour is a regular wheat flour. Right, so I mean, in consideration of blessing, it's exactly the same. But I'm trying to make a point that many times you like even though you see ingredients, like you need more information. So there is a public available information. For example, on Orthodox Union, they would tell you what blessing to make, especially in cereals, because it's a composite food, so it's not so easy to understand unless you know what exactly blessing to make. Continue. So we say cornbread. So we explained cornbread. Well, why is it Hamotzi? For sure bread, because it's mostly this wheat flour. Okay, continue. Whole bread or multi-grain bread. Okay, but it's whole wheat. I'm sorry, whole wheat or multi-grain bread. So that's understandable. So when we say whole wheat, I think it has bran, little pieces of bran in there. So like it's supposed to be healthy, right? It's healthy and cost much more money, this flour. And it's very interesting. If you look at Shulchan Aruch, so Shulchan Aruch would call it like low class bread. Like when we say that the standards like pure flour is a top standard, and this whole wheat would be like closer to the bottom. But for us, I mean, in our day and age, if you say somebody whole wheat, they would charge it double in the store for whole wheat bread compared to regular bread, for sure. Very interesting. Yeah. So things changed. Then we continue. We say rye bread, of course. That's for sure. It's bread. And all of the white breads. Okay, right. Okay, and continue. Not genuine bread. Okay, so this is simple examples. So one more time, we remember the criteria that the bread roll, whatever form is it, that you usually would use it in mainstay of the meal, right? Even the meal could be that you eat salad and bread. So I mean, many people. I mean, if I eat just salad, I'm not going to get satiated from this from this grass, right? From cucumbers and tomatoes, right? But if you eat even a little piece of bread, even kizayis, even kibbutz to kizaysim, that's a chance to get satiated, right? Okay. So next one is not genuine bread. Example of the products which are used primarily as snacks, and therefore subject to the baremi name is zoines are toasted bread things such as melba toast. Melba toast.
Yeah, I've seen what they are. They're very tiny. They're almost like crackers, but they're like a toast. They're very thin and like this. They use them in many schools to eat with small.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, so I never tried melba toast. I mean, but I have some idea what you're talking about. So for sure, so they say this is not bread. Okay, continue. Toasted bagel or pita chips. So they have bagel chips or pita chips. So I mean that's how they sell in the packages. I never tried one, but I saw the packages. So it just like into triangle shape, different shape. That's how they sell. So people don't use it. So they usually of dry consistency, right? So not mainstay of the meal.
I think they're fried. Maybe that's for the reason. Why you think? Because it's
no. If it's fried, if it's deep fried, that's needless to say. We're talking about that. For sure, you might think that is a bread family. So if it's fried, deep fried, it's cooking. So all of these things that were cooked, for sure, it's not bread. For example, all of this mizonos.
Maybe because they're baked, but they're so small,
the reason is because people don't use it as a mainstay. It's like use it as a snack.
Yes. Okay.
That's the reason. So they say breadsticks. Also, they're very dried, like tiny and okay. Next one is sweet croissants. That people will sometimes use for eat for a breakfast. Again, depends how much you're going to eat. Next one is Oriental bagels. I never saw this Oriental bagels. They say in parentheses ka'ak or somewhat similar to the hard pretzels. Okay, so this Oriental bagels is some kind of pretzel. So pretzels, as we understand, they have dry consistency, but hard, right? Okay, so somehow we're going to see why, but he puts here soft pretzels. Usually the big pretzels, they're bread, for sure. There is no doubt about it. But here the soft pretzel, maybe some tiny ones. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to see. So next, continue. So those are there's one category, not genuine bread. Of course, as we said, if we're going to eat a certain amount, so in this case, it's going to consider to be bread. Right, and so the thing is that we always have to watch, if you buy things in a supermarket, so you can see always on the packaging like how much you need to eat in order to be considered bread. For example, I'll give you one example. So we used to buy these muffins from this place, and they're huge muffins. So technically, one muffin was 3 eggs for sure. Like huge muffin, very heavy. Like of course, you eat this muffin, you satiate it for half a day plus, right? So I would wash this my hands. Of course, it's sweet with all of these toppings on the top. So I would wash my hands every morning and eat this. No, not every morning, but when we had it. So and eat this muffin. Very heavy. So because they put some moisture, I'm not sure what is inside, but it's very very heavy. Okay, C. Next one. Products made with bread, for example, bread kugel, French toast. Okay. So let's see. So now we're going to in a section, right, and we're going to extend that something was originally bread, and then we did something to that bread. So we improved it somehow, right? So bread kugel, as we said, that pieces of challah, and they put eggs, I think, other things mixed together. like you see pieces of challah and then bake it in a oven. Okay, and French toast. Okay, so let's start. This section deals with the bracha requirement for the products made from the bread or matzahs. Okay, same apply to matzahs, of course. The essential rule is if the bread was cooked and the pieces of bread were smaller than kezayis, it does not require hamotzi. Okay, so we're going to go by opinion. I don't want to confuse anybody. Opinion of this book and period. Okay, so he's saying that if it was regular bread and then they cooked it and the pieces were smaller than kezayis, I think before they were cooked, because now after they were cooked, of course they're saturated with liquid in what they were cooked, and they're much heavier, right? So I think if I remember correctly, just a second, let me finish. So if this kezayis size, kezayis we said 28 grams, right, approximately 1 ounce, right, is before it was cooked, right? So according to this opinion, but I think Mishnah Berurah, that's not what Mishnah Berurah says. I think, if I remember correctly. So he said if it's less than kezayis, so you don't have to do hamotzi. But if it's bigger than kezayis, right? The kezayis are larger, so 28 grams, 1 ounce or larger. So you would need to say hamotzi even if it was cooked. Okay, go ahead. Question.
Yeah. No. My point was, I think, kind of answered the question. But let's say you're making some sort of a French toast, but the amount of batter on top of that toast is more than, let's say, the bread. What would be the situation when such a thing would happen?
No, but this all of this addition where you add to the bread is secondary. It's to improve the bread. So they always subordinate.
Yeah. So as long as it's a kezayit of bread, it's still a motzi technically.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So all right. So let's see. There is a commentary. Okay. So they say they give us commentary on kezayis. So let's read it. Okay, we know, but let's read it anyway. A kezayis literally olive size is equal to the volume of half of an egg. A good approximation of the kezayis is amount of equal about half of the center of the slice of rye bread. See volume 1. Okay, so he said take a rye bread. I'm not sure are they all of the same weight. Maybe yes, maybe no. Don't ask me. So and cut in half and middle slice, cut in half, and it's going to be this kezayis. But I say in today's day and age, just buy yourself scales, and it's you go to Amazon or whatever local website is for you is, and you pay up today. It's so cheap. You pay $10 or less, right? And they give you precise scales. So that's what we use, and that's what I recommend to all of my students. Just buy this, and it's a lifetime investment. You thank me every time, because many times, like me personally, it's hard to estimate. Like, is it kezayis or not kezayis? Do they have to say after blessing or not, right? So if you say with after blessing, say no, okay, maybe it's a kezayis. Let me say the after blessing just in case. So if it was less than kezayis, even for 1 gram, like which is very insignificant, so it might be the bracha volatalas, meaning the taking Hashem's name in vain, chas v'shalom, which is of course the punishment for that is the death penalty. Or like chorus from Shemini. So not good. I think not good. 1 second. Yeah. So not good to be in that category. So if you have, for example, eaten crackers or some other things, and then you know how many pieces in the package, and you see that the package contains such a weight, so you can divide, and you see that I ate 5, so it's actually I need to eat 10 or more to make it kezayis. I'm just making up. Right, so it's easy to understand, but otherwise, it's unless somebody is genius, it's almost impossible to understand how much you must eat. And especially when people tend to eat the same food. So you weigh this food one time, and that's it. You want to eat grapes. So you know like how many pieces of grapes you need to eat in order to say the after blessing. I don't know, like for me, if you ask me, I would not know how much is an ounce. But once I put it on a scale, next time, I know, approximately. So I eat like even few more just to make sure that I can say the after blessing. And another thing is nuts, right? It's they're light, right? It's not so simple to understand how much you need to eat in order to say the after blessing. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, question.
What I was saying is that I think when it comes to that regular use, you sort of get used to kazait, how to eat, and you might even just eat more in that case. But in Sukkot, for example, now that we're in Sukkot, but Pesach, obviously you have to be very, very careful with the measurements. And now Sukkot, if you don't have 3 kebetzah of bread, you technically don't say the blessing of Leshev Sukkah, right? Unless you eat a certain amount. Or is it...
No. First of all, we don't... No. I think even if you say even if you have kezais, you would say Leshev Basukah. Right. So here's another difference. It's very interesting that since you mentioned, and in Sukkot, let's add one more halacha. So there is a difference since we're talking about difference between Sephardim and Ashkenazim. So Sephardim would say the Leshev Basukah, the blessing on a sitting of the sukkah, is only when they eat bread, as you said,
exactly.
Regular bread.
That's why.
But tradition of Ashkenazim, we say blessing even if you eat mizoines, so you eat cookies, whatever you eat, right? So you say the blessing, and even if you drink wine. So for all of these 3 things, you're allowed to say Leshev Basukah. But for other things, like you have a huge meal, like with meat and fish and everything, salads, all of these beautiful dips and all is good, so you don't say blessing. But for a few cookies, you would say the blessing. That's very interesting. Okay, so let's continue. So we say so kazais just for people who join us recently, even though we said many times olive size, but when we look at our olives, whatever, even when you buy like it says jumbo olives, so you see that these jumbo olives are tiny. Of course, they're not they're not even close to the to the 1 ounce 28 grams, for sure not, right? And for sure 2 olives are not going to weigh as the whole egg, right? There are two different opinions in the Talmud. One say 2 olives, some of them 3 olives, but okay, we go by stricter opinion. We say 2 olives is egg. So for sure they are less than. But we operate based on a standards that were in Talmudic time. But our sages today converted for us. And when I say 28 grams, so it's actually it's one of the opinion that considered to be like somewhere in the middle, right? So there is more lenient opinion, more stricter opinion. So we go in the middle of the road, right? It's the most accepted opinion, 28 grams. There is one less, and one is I think 1.2 ounces even. Okay. So continue. Okay, so continue. Cooked bread, pieces smaller than kezais. If pieces of bread smaller than kezais were cooked in a liquid, they are no longer classed as bread. The bracha is barem minei mizoines. Okay. The bracha achrana is ala michiyah. Even if one ate a large quantity, he is not required to bench. Okay, so a lot of information, so let's try to understand. So now, according to this, and since there is such a lenient opinion, even though he does not say that lenient, but Mishnah Berurah gives a little more stricter opinion, but we can follow this, not to drive ourselves crazy, right? So if this pieces of bread that were cooked, right, and they are less than kezais, then you say baremine mizonos, and it's considered a cooked product. So on cooked products, we never say, doesn't matter how much you eat, we never say birchas hamazon. So you can eat the whole bowl of pasta or spaghetti, like or ravioli. So you never say on those things after them birchas hamazon. Why? Because they were cooked in the water and they're not considered to be bread family. Okay. So here the last step of preparation, even though the intermediate step of preparation was to bake as a regular bread, but the last step of preparation was to cook in liquid. So in this case, we say that it's actually something that was cooked, right? And we say the after blessing is ala mechia. So ala mechia, just to remind us, we actually covered, is a three-part blessing, which is called mi'am shalosh. When we say for mizonos products from this grain family, we say it after wine or grape juice, and we say after other species fruits that are grown in that Eretz Israel blessed this, right? The grapes and figs, pomegranates, dates. Okay. So it doesn't matter how much he ate, he would say ala mechia. Continue. And the next one, a deep fried. So as we said, deep fried is for sure it is cooking. It's not baking. Deep frying, there is bread is entirely covered with oil, is like in Halachic to cooking. Thus the Brocha for a deep fried pieces of bread, which are smaller than kizayis, are baremine, mizonos, and ala mechia. So one more time, if you cook, but if you deep fry or cook, but the pieces of bread are huge, like not huge, but more than kizayis, so they consider to bread less than kizayis, and cooked they consider to be mizonos. Okay, so let's see. There is one commentary. Cooked bread products are not considered to be products of the bread family, since they lack the appearance of the properties of bread. Rather, they are in a category of cooked mizonos products, such as noodles and cooked cereals. Okay, we explained that. Okay, but let's read. If if 8 kizesim of many products of bread family, for example, cakes or crackers were eaten, birchas hamazon is required. So here he goes by opinion of 4 eggs, not 3 but 4 eggs, right? Cooked bread, however, is exempt from birchas hamazon, even more than 8 kizesim were eaten. Okay. So it's very interesting. So let me see what we can add to this. So that's why I said that Mishnah Brura says he takes into consideration another opinion, right? So another opinion is if this even these pieces less than kizayis, they still look like bread. So I'm just saying what was his point, but let's not go into details. So since we can rely on this opinion, as this Rabbi said, there is no problem. So let's rely on this opinion. So if it's less than kizayis, so it's not then cooked, not considered to be hamotzi. Okay. Continue. Any questions on what we said so far? Okay. Wow, time flies. So let's see how much. We're not going to finish. Continue. It was 8b. Pan fried with little or no oil. Frying on a pan, which is sprayed with a non-stick substance or wiped with the oil moistened cloth, is not considered cooking. This also applies to cases where the bottom of the pan is coated with a bit of oil, just enough to prevent scorching. Bread pieces large or small, which are fried in this way, remain classified as bread. Therefore, bracha is Hamotzi in Birchas Hamazon. So let me just explain what we said. So it doesn't matter like if you even if you bake something in the oven, you put something on a pan where you fry, where you baking, so it would the bread would not stick. Some people put there is a baking paper, but some people put what do you call it? Aluminum foil, and they spray with a little oil. So of course it has nothing to do with cooking, right? Just so this bread would not stick to the pan, right? That's it. And same you can do with a frying pan, right? On top of the stove, and that's how we actually make pitas, right? So our stove is meat flashing, right? So we cannot eat our bread in our home actually for with other things, for example with milk, where we cannot eat regular bread, right? So with cheese or other things, right? So what we do on the top of the stove, right? We do pitas. Very simple recipe, and they because the frying pan is parv, so they always parv. Right, so for sure, even though we spray a little oil, for sure, all of these pitas are considered to be bread, 100%. Okay, so that doesn't matter, they're large, they're small. Once again, so if it's covered with oil or water or some other liquid, it's cooking. If it's no oil, or just spray, in order or wipe, as they say, wipe with a cloth. They put some oil on a cloth and wipe on a frying pan, and in order not to get stuck. So it's 100% baking. Okay, so next situation is C. And it said pan fried with oil. Right. Ordinary pan frying, there is more oil than needed to prevent scorching, but not enough to cover the food. Is similar in some respect to cooking, and other with baking. There is a halachic uncertainty as to whether hamotzi is required for the bread pieces smaller than kizayis, which are fried this way, and also in appearance of bread. So here he takes into consideration our thing, as we were explaining, Mishnah Brurah's point. So it still looks like bread. Therefore, if one wishes to eat the products which are made in this way, for example, matzoh bread or French toast fried in oil, he must first wash and make hamotzi and eat kizayis of regular bread. After eating, he is required to bench. Okay, so let's finish and we're going to expand. A practical suggestion for making mizoines matzahs, bread, or French toast is offered in paragraph C4 below. Okay, let's try to understand. So now, if it's covered with completely with liquid, we explain straightforward. We say if it's more than kizayis, more than 1 ounce, 28 grams. Okay, it's 100% bread. Less than this, mizoines. Okay, that's clear. If we say there is no oil, right? We do it in we do it in a frying pan. No oil, 100% bread. So now we're going to this. There is some oil, so it's more than more oil than for this food. I don't want to call it bread yet. So for our food to get needed in order not to get stuck to the bottom, right? So now we're in dilemma. We don't know. It looks like a cooking, but we cannot call it a deep fry because it's not completely covered with the oil, right? And it's resemble bacon, as we were explaining about our pitas. So what is it? So since there is two very strong opinions of our sages, so we do not know. And whether it is bread or mizoines. So again, we're talking about pieces less than kizayis. More than kizayis, it does not make any difference. We still stay hamotzi. We're talking about only, again, pieces less than kizayis, right? So if he did it in this way, so we do not know what to do. And So an example that he gives is a matzah bread. So what is a matzah bread? So that's again going back to Pesach. It's a big difference between the customs, right? So, and I think I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Sephardim, they actually eat matzah soaked in water. I think, right? There is no problem. I think, at least most of them. But
yeah, they don't have any problem. I think it's Chabad Hasidim usually because of them. I think it's a gebrach or
yeah, gebrach.
I think that's the issue.
Exactly. So other it's not only Chabad, it's other Jews. So so there is a very strong opinion among other Jews, right? That they try to be very careful and not to eat matzah soaked with water or with any other liquid, for the matter, right? Right, so they would not eat this matzah bread, but the ones who would eat, right? So my family tradition that we would actually eat. So we would break this matzah in pieces, put hot water, right, the boiled water, so it becomes very soft. Then you put eggs, you put other ingredients, you mix, you fry it. It's unbelievable, beautiful dish, right? Very soft, very delicious, very nice, right? So all of these pieces, of course, nobody would put a kizayis of matzah. So we break it into small pieces, of course, right? So the question is, right, even though it's small pieces, was it cooked or was it baked? So since, of course, you don't put too much, even as I said, you put water, but this water is getting absorbed in the matzah, right? And on the frying pan, you put some oil. It's a little extra, maybe oil, but of course it's not going to cover the whole matzah bread, right? That's why it's questionable. And they also say this about the French toast, right? The French toast. So how they make the French toast? If I'm not mistaken, so they put regular bread. They put it sometimes they dip it in milk, and then in an egg or some other ingredients, and put it on a frying pan, and it's very delicious thing. Okay, they put in butter, I think, whatever they do. It's very nice. But of course, when they fry it with more oil than needed they need it, right? So that's very similar to matzah bread. So with this and similar products, and usually they use the whole piece of bread, the whole slice of bread that for sure has kizayis. But now we're talking about, for some reason, they have leftovers, whatever leftover things, right? So it's less than kizayis. So more than kizayis, we don't know what to do. But less than kizayis, so they say don't put yourself in this situation. So technically, they say make a blessing on a regular bread, or for Ashkenazim we can use on matzah, right? Eat one kizayis of matzah, regular matzah, or regular bread, if it's not Pesach, of course, and then continue eating this product. Otherwise, it's not so clear what blessing to make. So as the Shulchan Aruch actually very close, he said the God-fearing person would not eat these things by themselves, but only in a bread meal, right? Because it's not so simple what blessing to make, because it's looks like this and like that. Okay, so continue. Number 2, cooked bread pieces larger than kizayis. Bread pieces which are larger than kizayis are considered to be bread, regardless of whether they were boiled, cooked, or fried. Therefore, the bracha for any product containing pieces of bread the larger than kizayis, kizayis is hamotzi. Sorry, so we said that many times. So with bread pieces more than kizayis, so it's hamotzi. Okay, but again, so don't even though he said take this rye bread. So I would say whatever bread you eat, just buy yourself a scales, and if you don't have one, and see how much. So sometimes it would be less than maybe it was in your bread, whatever you prefer, it's going to be 1/3 of the slice. But if it's very light bread, very like puffy bread, maybe it's going to be 1.5 slice. We don't know. Okay. Unless you can see how much is on the packaging. It says how much, like it's a pound, 2 pounds, whatever, how many pounds, and then you calculated how many slices, and you can divide, and you can arrive to conclusion this way. But I would say by the scales, and it's going to resolve many issues. Okay, so one more time, these pieces of bread larger than kizayis, doesn't matter what you do with them, we cook them, boil them, whatever you do, fry them, they still considered to be hamotzi. Because one of the reasons they are still recognizable as a bread. Continue. For example, French toast. Okay, here we go. So here's the definition of French toast. Bread dipped in egg and fried. So but I think we also dipped it in milk. Okay, so that doesn't matter. So it's very tasty, very nice, and it's a little sweeter. Baruch Hashem. Okay, made from a whole slice of bread required hamotzi. So this 100% hamotzi, right? But example that they were key. Maybe like usually when we were doing this, like from a bread, so you don't want to eat this bread, but this French toast you would eat for a breakfast, right? It's soft, it's nice. You would eat it for a breakfast, right? Okay. Continue. The bracha achrona for Dacha Prada is birchas hamazon, provided that kazais of bread was eaten. Okay, so I would add birchas hamazon is you eat this piece of bread in a specific amount of time. Okay, so I guess we can stop here. Still a lot. So any questions on what we said? Any questions on any other topic? Any topic? Okay, no question, no problem. So this Sunday, right? It's going to be Hoshanah Rabbah. So it's like a semi-holiday day, right? It's special status. We have there's a Jewish tradition. It's become popular just recently, just so we know. It was not popular in the olden days, so maybe last 20 years, maybe even less. So to learn the whole night. So that's what we do, and then it's very long davening, very long prayers. So I went through the Siddur with my morning group. So we spend a lot of time, but I would say whenever you have time, just prepare, go through your Siddur, and see what you do for Hoshanah Rabbah, because it's not so simple. You start, for example, Psuki de Zimra as the morning Psuki de Zimra, and then you jump to the Shabbos Psuki de Zimra, and you say some portions, and then you jump back, and there is a whole Hoshanahs. So basically, this prayer is for sure is longer than you do on Shabbos, for sure. So maybe, so if on Shabbos, like in a place where I go, it's like 2.5 hours, something like that, with Rabbi speak or with all of this, right? With Torah reading. So this Hoshanah Rabbah is going to be maybe around 3 hours, with speed davening even. Okay, and then on Monday and Tuesday we have 2-day holidays. So for people who live in Israel, it's only 1 day. For people who live in exile is 2 days. So first is Shemini Atzeret. It's not Sukkos, so we're not allowed to sit in the Sukkah. So it's an additional holiday that what appended to Sukkos. And then the next day we call it Simchas Torah. It's a day when we finish reading the Torah, right? So people then dance with the Torah. Very joyous holiday, very nice. People get a little drunk and they drink with the Torah. So just make sure you don't drink, or if you drink, make sure don't drop the Torah. Don't if it's heavy for you.
It's a very good custom to not have alcohol inside where the Torah is.
Yeah. I mean, so even so it's, and if it's Torah is heavy for you, there is no problem to refuse it, and that you don't want to carry it. Because in one shul, like my heart stopped think it was last year when they give it to a younger fellow. I think he was the underage, and he had a little. I'm not sure how much he had, but he was a little tipsy, and he almost dropped the Torah. My heart stopped. Of course, somebody grabbed it from him, but it was too heavy for him, right? So don't do it. Okay, so basically, yeah, that's it. So until then, so we can we're going to restart Beezrat Hashem on Wednesday night. Beezrat Hashem. Okay, unless you have any questions, so we're stuck here.
Yeah.
No questions? Okay, no problem. So good night, good Shabbos and good Yom Tov, and until Wednesday night. Beezrat Hashem. Thank you very much.
Good Shabbos.